What's up? What's up? What's up? And I'll say it once more. What's up? This is Rich Legate from Attitude is Everything, and welcome to our next installment of the FAC Insights with Attitude is Everything's artist initiative, which is called Next Stage. We're a music organization that works with the music industry, festivals, venues, funders all across the industry to support the access to the industry for deaf and disabled fans, professionals, and artists. And Next Stage is our artist project. We work with a network of songwriters, musicians, solo artists, DJs around the country to hear their experiences and represent them and to champion them. This is a chance to meet one of the artists in our network, Ruth Patterson, who has been connected with Attitude is Everything for a while. And I know Ruth pretty well, so we don't need to do too many formalities today, apart from just saying welcome, Ruth, and thanks for coming along.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. And you're based are you in Newcastle at the moment?
Yeah, based in Newcastle, yeah.
And that's sort of been your that has been your scene, really. And I think you know it quite well. Are there kind of artists around you that you've been like aware of in your scene for a while, and venues and stuff like that up in Newcastle, which you've kind of played out a lot?
Yeah, like I totally feel like an adopted Geordie. I've spent the last 10 years here, so definitely feel part of the scene. I love the music scene up here in the northeast in general, but I know Newcastle the best. And we've got a great community spirit. When we first moved up here, we were instantly connecting with musicians and getting support slots. People like Rob Herron and the Teapad Orchestra at the Cumberland Arms. That's a great venue. Sage Gateshead is also a fantastic venue. I was artist in residence there last year, and it's brilliant. I think Attitude is Everything. I think it's gold standard for Attitude, so that's pretty
That's
cool as
right.
well. We've also got Clooney, Cobalt Studios, and we've got a great little festival up here. Well, it's actually growing. It's called Lindisfarne Festival, and it's on Lindisfarne, and that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, we've got a great scene up here, and also like music magazines like Narc magazine,
Yeah.
really great, and yeah, just we're really good at supporting one another up here. I think more so than anywhere else I've been. So I feel very privileged to be living here in Newcastle.
You started a band called Holy Moly and the Crackers. How how
Yeah.
how far back was that for you? Were there like bands before that?
Well, I was always annoying my pals by writing songs and making them listen to them since I was about 7. But I had a few bands at school, but nothing really serious. And then when I left school, I found my partner Conrad, and we started Holy Moly together. And yeah, that was a long time ago. That's about 12 years ago, I think. But the first few years were more of a joke. We were just playing in kitchens when we were students and doing daft things like that. So, but it took off about 5 years ago, and it's been great ever since. Apart
So
from the last 12 months.
yeah, yeah. Well, ditto for everybody. And well, like with the band, you've toured Europe several times. You've put out your fourth record, was it? Like maybe a year before last?
Yeah, that was our third. That was our
Third.
third album.
Yeah.
But we've done like EPs in between as well. Yeah, we've done loads of great stuff. But it was nice that I had my solo project, which is working on what I'm working on now. Singer, songwriter, and composer at the moment. It was nice to have that lined up. Because of the pandemic, put the band on hold because we're primarily a live band. Like we had 100
Mm.
shows cancelled last year. So it was nice to have my solo work to be composing for string quartet and my solo songs and writing that EP instead of touring. So it was nice to have something to do, basically.
And like for many, I don't know. Speaking as like as an artist as well, and like the potential of having like blank days at home are often like when you're really busy doing gigs and stuff with like the dream. You're like, wow, imagine I could like really set my like studio up. I could do a little chart on the wall. I could finally get around to finishing like all these demos. And I guess that maybe last March, the appeal was very much there. Have you found like it's to be more of a creative time for you than ever before, or actually tougher to be creative?
I think it swings and roundabouts, to be honest. I mean, when we first stopped, we were in the middle of a 6 week tour and we had to rush home 2 weeks in. And it was a bit shell shocking, to be honest. But really quickly, we adapted. We turned our spare room into a studio, bought loads of equipment, got straight on the funding train, as everybody had to
Yeah.
do, and just quite quickly adapted. And I think you're right. I think I really relished the opportunity to be at home and finish off those songs and have the time to put to my solo project, without the band kind of getting in the way a little bit, as it had been. So that was quite good. But I guess on the flip side, I realized that performing as much as we were, it was actually quite a large part of my personality. And I do feel that not having that place to perform and not being able to see people all the time, I actually realized I'm a lot more sociable than I thought I was. I thought I was a hermit, and I thought that was a part of my job that I put up with, but actually I like it a lot more than I thought I did. So I think for everybody, I think we've had the space to learn about our characters as well, not just our jobs. But that's been something quite interesting that I've been quite pleasantly surprised about, that I
Yeah,
miss
it's
it so
like
much.
it's strange. It's strange because there's so much when you're playing gigs and like gig after gig and festival after festival where you go home and you're like, oh, it just takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's always like this and this always happens and someone always doesn't do this right. And then when it stops, you're like, oh, I actually probably quite
Yeah.
like waiting around outside a porter cabin just to get like 4 cans of warm beer that
Oh
was,
yeah,
you
give me
know.
a warm Stella any day. That's what I'm dreaming of.
So yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, but with the solo project, you were the Sage Gateshead, which is a great venue, as you mentioned earlier, up in the northeast. You were the artist in residence with them last year for 2020. What did that entail for you?
Well, again, that was struck by the coronavirus as well. So it was cut in half basically. It was
Yeah,
meant to be a year and it finished in March. But I got lots of mentorship from the Sage. I got to work with Fiona Bryce, who's one of my favorite composers, and she helped me with my string arrangements. And I learnt loads of skills, and it's a fantastic, accessible space, which I could go and write and record in and work in. And the people there are just great as well. They just bounce ideas off and stuff. So I got a lot out of it, but it was just a shame that it came to a halt so
yeah.
quickly. But
I've never been there. I really want to go.
oh, it's really, really good. Really good.
Is it? Should I be like clear that Gateshead is like its own place, right?
Oh
You
yeah.
know, yeah,
Don't
and it,
mistake. Yeah, Gateshead, it's the river. The
okay,
River Tyne is in the middle. I'm in Newcastle, and that's in Gateshead. I mean, it's you walk over the bridge and you're in Gateshead,
yeah,
but you have to make sure that you say Sage Gateshead,
yeah, okay.
otherwise people get very cross.
Yeah, I won't be walking out on stage there with the old "Hello Newcastle."
Oh, you wouldn't believe how many people have done that. It's people just like up in arms,
Yeah,
walking out.
it's like a Manchester Salford thing, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
Salford's his own place. Anyway, enough geography chat. You mentioned about like why Gateshead obviously demonstrating great access and some stuff you've been doing like more recently. I know through working with Attitude is Everything and being part of the Next Stage Artist Network, and being one of our great ambassadors along with for the FAC. Is sort of like taking your own experiences and also things you've connections with other artists, and how have you kind of been taking that into your own work as well, like with like advice and stuff? How's that been going?
I feel like I've learned a lot over the last year because I've had more time, like we were saying, more time to put into these projects. And when people have asked me to get on panels and things, it's been something that I've been able to say yes to, whereas before I'd have to turn down that a lot because I was touring all the time. So it's been really good. It's been really good to mix with lots of other disabled people with different disabilities and different access requirements, because I've learned a lot. I've been working with different charities and different panels, and I'm also the board on one of the board committee members for a theatre. And so yeah, I think being around people, or it's actually just virtually, but being around people and talking to people and asking questions and them asking me questions, I think has really helped my awareness of access needs. I've learned a lot from doing a show that was in conjunction with Sage and Attitude is Everything. I learned stuff about audio description and captioning and the importance of these things, not just one-offs, but every single time you put out stuff on social media.
Yeah.
And little tricks that are really cheap and easy to do, like free apps to use captioning on Instagram. And I just tried to get into the rhythm of audio describing all the time, or just asking whether that it's good. Like I was asking you before, like, is it going to be a video? So things like that, I think are just really simple, and it's nice to have people asking more questions about how they can be more accessible and be more inclusive. And it'd be nice to see that inclusivity when we open back up.
Is there anything you kind of like, if you're meeting with an organization or who kind of like, well, Ruth, would be great to talk to you, like what we can learn, is there anything you kind of start with as your main kind of point?
I don't know if there's one main point, but
Yeah,
I think the main thing is about attitude. I know that sounds
like
that
we made
sounds
you to say it.
yeah, like that was not scripted.
Yeah,
But the attitude is so important. You know, if I go into a conversation with a promoter or a venue and I'm trying to book a show and I say, oh, by the way, I'm a wheelchair user and these are my access requirements, if that totally, you know, sends them over the edge and they just get really awkward about it, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that show. Whereas if they're like, okay, and they're really honest and we're like, actually, I don't know much about access requirements, but please tell me what you need and I'll do the best that I can, you know, and they ask questions, then that's all you can do. And all you can do is ask questions, and through asking those questions you learn, and then the next person that comes in that has some access requirements, you know what you're doing. And I think that's all we can really do at this point. I mean, yeah, there's loads of I would always advise them to go to you guys and you know, get some training, because I think that helps with the whole attitude thing. You know, if you've got some specific training on how to approach these things and how
yeah.
to make sure those access requirements are put in place, you know, then that's all you can do. But yeah, I think just more awareness, more thinking about it and being less surprised. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
To
I
just
think,
go like, expect people with
yeah,
disabilities to be crew and artists, and that would be a great start.
I think that's really how you scratch the surface of it, is just a little bit of a wake up call that, you know, this isn't something is should be one off occurrence. Yeah, that word expect is really good. I've stolen that from you actually, because you used it a while ago in a workshop we were doing, and I think it's a really helpful way of thinking about it. One thing you did, which isn't something many people can say, is you spoke at an all party parliamentary group, which was done virtually, so you didn't get to go to Parliament, unfortunately. It was the Parliamentary Group for Creative Diversity. So, what was that like? Did you just stick it to them?
Oh, I was so nervous about that. I don't usually get nervous about talking. I love talking, but yeah, I was really nervous about it, but I just wrote down all my points. I was like, I'm gonna get through all of these
Yeah,
points. And I feel like I smashed it actually. I don't say that very often, but I feel like I think a really good point is when you've said your piece and then people keep coming back to it and circling back to it. So
yeah.
when they kept circling back to, and what Ruth said earlier, I was like, yes, I've made a difference. So yeah, that was something that I really enjoyed. I'd love to do more of that actually. And the one thing that I would say is that not a lot of regional accents on there either. So
Mm.
I felt like I was really bigging up the north a lot. I
Yeah,
felt like a lot of people had never left London before that were
yeah,
on the
they're probably
call.
like, isn't this great? We've got someone from from the actual north in this meeting, like patting each other on the back, you know.
Yeah. Classic.
Well done. I mean, yeah, I would be tripping over my words all over the place during
Yeah.
something like that, because it's just like you said, it's not like performing is like a problem or talking like this is a problem, but I guess it's like just different audience, pretty formal.
Totally,
Uh,
totally different
did
audience.
you dress smart for that, or was it
Oh yeah, I had a suit on.
like bowler hat and monocle?
Yeah.
Right, well, we're going to leave it there because I'm being, good note to end on bowler hat and monocle, and keeping these short and sweet, really. Ruth, if anyone listening kind of wants to find a way to some of your actual music, what should they keep an ear or eye out for?
Well, I've got all the socials, so type in Ruth Patterson and or RPAT into Google, and I'm going to be releasing an EP soon. And yeah, look out for what I'm up to. I love sharing what I'm up to, so come and follow me.